Good morning, Facebook friends. How are you today? It is Monday morning, and so far, those of us who are on today, we have survived the weekend, and that's a good thing. Now, this is an impromptu LaRulis Cafe, and so we may not have a lot of people watching it in real time. That's fine because we know that folks will come back and watch it as it replays. We're trying to figure out a couple things. I'm trying to figure out why in last night's show we had a lot of static with StreamYard, and they couldn't figure out why we had a lot of static. So I have to take things in my own hands, and I'm going to figure it out today with my guest because she has agreed to not only be the guinea pig, but we've got to talk about puppies because she's going to tell you about what we all did yesterday. So first, I don't hear any sound, but I'm going to turn off my air purifier and see if that makes a difference as well. And now I'm going to bring on the guest, and I want her to remember to unmute herself. And it is Kathy Wilson. Kathy is out of Maine, and she is an elected official in Maine, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. But she's a great elected official because I have actually watched her council meetings, and but she is a groomer. She has been had show dogs, and you'll see. Hopefully, we'll see some of the badges that she has there, and she's a breeder. So yesterday morning, early in the morning, Kathy sent a text and said that her dog was getting ready to have puppies. And there were quite a few of us from around the country sitting in front of our screens watching one by one puppies being birthed. So we're going to bring on the midwife who did it, and we're going to look at the puppies, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are important to Kathy Wilson. So, Kathy, without further ado,
here we are.
Good morning in Maine.
Yeah. And it is a beautiful morning, too. Blue skies.
Well, you know what? What's your temperature in Maine right now?
Right here, it's 30.
Right here, it's 30. And right here, it's probably 30 as well. It's 33. 33 and sunny.
Yep. My thing says 30 and the arrow is going up. So it's going to get warmer.
So, Kathy, what part of Maine are you in?
I am in Brunswick, which is on the coast, just north of Portland, which is sort of one of the main cities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about an hour from the New Hampshire border, 2 hours from Boston.
Okay.
I'm about, at any road I take, I'm between 1 and 3 or 4 miles from the ocean.
Okay. Very good.
Yep.
And the word on the street is you're near the ocean, but you don't like lobster. I mean, how does someone live?
I never liked lobster. I was born here. My father was a farmer, and he was rather simple, and he never ate anything like. I don't think he even ever had a piece of pizza. That's how plain and simple it was. So we never ate it, and I just never liked it. I ate one once. We won't go into that. And I don't think I didn't like it. I probably would like it if I'd eat it. I just never have, so I just don't bother.
I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Kathy, that I love about you, you are how old?
75.
75 years young. I love that.
And a half.
I love that. And still living your best life. That's
doing my best to do that.
All right. Yeah. So we want to know about giving birth to these puppies. Now you have a puppy in your arm right now. Who is that?
This is Breaker. He's 4.5 months, going on 5. He was born in the end of October. And
okay.
It's what I like to call an arranged marriage. Next year, he will get to be a daddy.
Okay.
So this year, he's a pain in the ass at times, but a sweetheart.
Yeah,
You
he
saw,
does have a lot of energy.
yeah, you saw him a few minutes ago. He was right wild, and now he's very content.
He's
He
very
does
because
well.
he knows that he is live on Facebook, so
Has to
he's
be it.
enjoying that.
He's the equivalent to a 13 or 14-year-old teenager.
Okay, that's fun. I remember those days.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you. So you're going to breed. He's going to be. What do they call him when he?
A sire.
Okay, he's going to be a sire.
Yeah.
And who are you going to breed him with?
Snap.
With Snap. You know, how are you going to keep he and Snap actually live together now? They're kind of shacking up because both of them are your dogs. So
Yeah.
how are you going to keep them apart from each other? At what point will you know it's time to mate?
Well, uh, if I breed a bitch, which is what the females are called,
Right?
appropriately so at times, they come in season twice a year, as a rule, uh, about every 6 months. And I breed. I would not. I don't breed every heat. Although sometimes if I skipped a year, I might breed back once and then skip another year and whatnot. But anyhow, she's got the puppies now. She will
Hmm.
have another season between now and during that time, I will have to live with keeping him away from her, uh,
Hmm.
which will be interesting. But I've done it many times before. He'll be crated. They can't be loose at the same time. Then her next heat, which will be approximately a year from now, 12 to 13 or 14 months, depending on, she goes about every 6.5 months. So, and then I will just let them do their thing.
So every 6.5 months, the now the name of the mother again is
Her name is Snap.
Snap. So Snap is going to breed every 6.5 months. She has more puppies.
No, every 6.5 months, she has a heat, which is equivalent to having your period. Let's say.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
sort of, except for when they're having when they're in heat, which that's what they call it, in season, in heat, that is what brings them into being receptive and
Hmm.
fertile. Uh,
Okay.
they're usually in season roughly 15 to 18 days as a rule, some a day or two more, some a day or two less. And they're usually receptive or fertile at about day 9 to usually 12 or 13 or something like that. Some go
Hmm.
longer. Everyone is individual. So then you breed them. You breed them then, and then. But no, I don't breed her every 6 months because that's what
That would be a little hard on her. Yeah.
puppy mills do. They every time they come in season, they breed them until they whatever. Uh,
Oh, really? Okay. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. They're in it for money. It's not dogs. It's a product for them.
Hmm.
Um, like
So yesterday
yes,
we watched this from all around this country. In fact, I think one woman was actually in another country watching these
yes, she
puppies
was.
being born. Tell our viewers the process. What happened yesterday? And I guess at some point you're going to let us even see the puppies again.
Yeah, I can switch us around. We can look at them. I'll put this back.
Okay.
I'm going to switch us around, and then I got to climb over the gate, which is I'm old, but
You are not old.
well, a few of the joints are old. Let's put it that way. Can you see the puppies?
Yes.
All right. Now I will climb over the gate.
Jade said, puppies. I know, Jade. This is exciting. It was exciting yesterday, too.
All right. So um, you can see them. I'm going to turn a light on in the corner here. It might help light them up. Let's see if it does. Does that help any?
Yeah, that's better.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, we know what's going on because
Yeah.
she doesn't want a whole lot of company right now anyway.
Well, a lot of them are like that. She's actually pretty good. So this is Snap. She had one other litter. Those puppies will be 2 years old in June. So I did breed her once in between where she didn't take
Mm-hmm.
because it was evidently a long story. Sent her up to Canada to a stud dog up there. It was in the winter. There was lots of storms going on. The woman she had to go somewhere. she got her bred a couple of times, and there was a huge storm coming, and I either had to go get her then or wait several days. So I went and got her, and it didn't take. It was evidently too early in the season. She didn't take. So we skipped a year. We skipped forward to now, and the border is still closed because that was a great dog that I used. But I found another. A friend of mine has another apricot or red poodle here in Maine, who is a nicely bred dog.
So this is a red poodle.
Well, there's red and apricot.
Okay.
Snap is actually more apricot, which is lighter. The red is dark. Breaker, which I just had in my lap, is a little darker. However, as they get their adult coat in there when they're about a year, sometimes the shade changes a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things change. Did you know that, like, for instance, Dalmatians are born all white?
I did not.
Yeah, and their spots come in before they're 8 weeks old. I don't know the exact timing, but somewhere around a week to 2 or 3 weeks, the spots begin to come in. So the color of puppies isn't always the color they're going to be.
Okay.
It's sort of kind of like us. Babies
Mm-hmm.
are born with, well, anyhow. So, so I found this dog here in Maine with a friend of mine, and we checked his pedigree and all of that stuff. And she does all the health checks, eyes and hearts, because every breed, not every breed, but most breeds have some medical issues that are common to their breed. And so a responsible breeder has the male and female all checked for all of these things before you breed them, which I did with Snap. She's had way back. She has her eyes checked every year because eyes can be a problem for poodles, like cataracts and things like that. So you don't want a history of that. I had a heart, an EKG kind of whatever that is done, and to make sure her heart, she doesn't have any murmurs, she doesn't have any this, that, and everything. And then I took her to Massachusetts to a really good vet down there that's more or less an expert on hips and elbows, which people have probably heard of hip dysplasia and stuff like that. And I had her x-rayed, and she is certified with the OFA, which is a national organization that certifies hips and elbows. And she's an excellent. So all of that was done before I ever bred her the first time. And the male, I insist that the male, I won't breed to a male unless most all of that stuff has been done to them, because I want to do my best to make sure I'm producing healthy puppies that are going to be healthy their whole life. There's no guarantee, for sure, but you do whatever you can to ensure the best possible results. So that's what I've done, and that's what I've done for years. I bred other breeds, a few other breeds, and I always did all the testing that was required of that breed, or even sometimes that wasn't required, but we knew we should do it. So that's about that, and that's the history behind these puppies. And Breaker, that was in my lap, is I bought him so that I can use him as a stud in another year. So it's like I like to jokingly say it's an arranged marriage. A year from now, he will actually, if everything goes right, and he passes all his tests, he will get to sire a litter. But he's got to go through all that testing before then. But I'm confident because the breeder I got him from also does all that stuff. So responsible breeders do all that stuff. So here we are with 5 puppies that are now, they're all 24 hours old. And they're nursing. They just seem to know. The little rick-rack on them is when they're born, I write down what time, and I put that on them so that should one be having, if one wasn't acting well today, I could watch it throughout the day, and I would know which one I was watching to see whether they got better. Or Breaker is pulling the towel off the X-pen here. He's a little...
Now, one of the things you said yesterday, when they're born, it's all about they can smell, but they can't see and they can't hear.
No, and I will show you. Let me see if there's one. I think somebody's got to be ready. This one's not eating. He doesn't have, yeah. So you see how she's paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, I will try to get up close. It's all right, but it's okay, Snap. If you can see, their eyes are not open, and their ears are actually sealed up,
Wow.
but they can smell. So that's how they find their way around.
Uh-huh.
And if I put him down here in the middle, you can just see he just knows which direction to go.
Wow. That's like a miracle. You know, we have a young woman, Jade, on. She says our family has many poodle. Our family's many poodle spaniel mix, and it
Yeah.
was red when we got her, but now she's apricot.
Yep, that happens a lot. The dark ones are nice. Her last litter, there was 4 puppies. 2 of them were really dark and 2 weren't. But I mean, unless you care, who cares?
Right.
If you're showing them, sometimes you like to, there's a lot of little things that kick in. I am not showing these guys. I showed dogs for years. I quit a couple of years ago. I showed for almost 50 years. I'm older. It's expensive, political, and I don't want to groom a poodle for showing. When I showed mostly short-haired dogs that wasn't so much grooming. Although with the poodles, you can you start showing dogs that can work towards a championship at 6 months. And I believe poodles at 6 months to maybe a year, you can show them in their full puppy coat. But after that, they have to be groomed appropriately. And by the way, the grooming that everybody thinks is all foo-foo grooming for poodles, like the little puffs on their hips and stuff, they are originally a water dog, a retriever. And they would leave the hair on the joints to help protect the joints in the cold water and stuff like that. That's what's behind it. So that is the reason they would leave. You'd see the poofs on their just above their feet going into that, and up on their hips and stuff like that in their front. So that hair, they'd clip the rest because they got so much hair they'd never dry, but they would leave it on the joints so that it would help protect them from the cold as they swam in cold water retriever.
Well, you know what? If you could come on back over to your other part of the studio, I have a couple more questions I would like to ask you.
Yep.
This is fascinating.
Yes, I could go on forever, but
no. See you, Mommy.
Yeah.
She said, good. She said, I need to rest.
Yeah.
She had a hard day yesterday,
Yeah.
and I have to tell you, it was fascinating watching her do her thing, and it was really great watching you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I do enjoy it. It's going to be a fair amount of work for a few weeks before they're ready to go to new homes, but
when do you think you will let them go?
They won't. Legally, they can't go before 8 weeks.
Okay.
In Maine, and I think probably most of the country. Legal. I saw somewhere was trying to change that, which irritates me. But anyhow, I think somewhere between 8 and 10 weeks or so. The last litter actually didn't go until they were 12 weeks old, and that was mostly because the people that were buying them were in situations where, either on vacation. It was summer, so they were either away on vacation or, one of many things. But and that's great because there's this puppies that go too early they learn a lot of things from their litter mates and their mother that we cannot teach them, and one of them is self-control. Like if they bite each other and they bite too hard, the other one nails them, and they just learn a little self-control. And if they leave it 5 weeks, which technically they can eat and they can live at 5 weeks, but on their own, but they haven't learned the social and mental things that they can only really learn from other dogs.
Well, I got my Jackson at almost 10 weeks,
Yeah.
And I think maybe he should have stayed maybe 5 more weeks because he's now 5 years old and he still hasn't learned some of the things he should have learned.
Yeah.
Now, as a breeder, will you cry when folks come to pick up these little pups?
No. It ta- I it there's a certain mental state you as a breeder. It would be whether horses, cows, or anything. Um, I enjoy raising the puppies. People want them, so they need them. So it's fulfilling a need in a way. But I enjoy this first 8 to 10 weeks, and that's when they become become little monsters like Breaker. And I'm very happy for them to go to their own home, and I'm very careful about who I sell them to. I mean, I do a lot. As a matter of fact, generally speaking, they're spoken for now. And
Hmm.
before this week is over, there's a couple of pet home people. I will have them come see them now. They can't touch them or anything like that. But, and of course, we got the pandemic thing. But I have found that if you think these guys are 63 days old from
Mm.
conception, and if you think they started at nothing in 63 days, 2 months, they are already little living beings. But what
Wow.
happens between now and 8 weeks, the growth is phenomenal.
So it takes us 8 to 9 months to give birth
Yeah,
to healthy babies.
yeah,
And this is 63.
63 days. And
Mm.
if they're born at 58 days, that's equivalent to a premature, like a 7 to 8 month old baby. So there's a lot of growth that goes on from conception to 8 weeks.
Mhm.
And 8 weeks old after they're born. And I like people to see, especially if they have kids in their family, I like to see that they if they just take them at 8 weeks, they think they're getting this little human, this little dog.
Right.
But if they see him, snap his Jackson. If they see him, my dog's.
Oh, you know what? I just saw, hold on. I just saw a loose puppy
Oh
run
no,
to my house. Hold on. Let me see what happened here.
you guys are fine. Stop now. Stop it. Stop it. You're all right. Everybody's fine. um, I could probably keep talking. I think there. I don't. I always say I'm not technical. I'm a dog groomer. So I'm not sure whether y'all can hear me now or not. Probably yes. So, Breaker. This is Breaker. He's
That is amazing, Kathy.
what's that?
I just saw a puppy run across my lawn by itself. Someone has lost a puppy.
Oh no.
And I don't see it outside, but it ran right up to my house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that was Sugar who actually felt it. So we're going to end the show right now because I am going to try to see where this little puppy is, a pretty brown puppy, see where it is,
Yeah.
and see if I can help an owner around here find its dog.
Well, let me know how that goes.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on to LaRue List Cafe.
I love it.
And it seems as though we didn't have any static today. How about that?
I know. I was noticing that. No static. So whatever it is, it's fixed for the moment.
Darn it. Yes.
Yeah,
I wanted to figure it out, but
I know.
thank you, Kathy from Maine,
Yep.
Councilwoman Kathy Wilson
Yeah.
from Maine.
Yeah.
And one day we're going to have you on and we're going to talk about the politics of Maine. But we're not going to do that today, but I want to talk about the politics of Maine. There are a couple
Okay.
of senators up there. You got to whip them in shape.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good one.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.